Morning, friends. Happy New Year. This is Cathy again, and I want to show you some pictures here before we get started on our lesson today. I'll show you this one first so you can kind of tell what we're going to talk about. We three kings. I know you know that song. We three kings of Orient are, bearing gifts we travel so far. Field and fountain, moor and mountain, following yonder star. So there's a picture of the three kings that we're going to talk about, or the three wise men. And then I sent a picture of how far they had to travel, and maybe you can see in the sky the bright star that they were following. That's how they knew where to go to find the new Messiah. So I'm going to start with our story today. Jesus has been born, and now the three wise men are coming to visit the baby Jesus. And I know that we all think of the nativity scene where the three wise men are around Jesus in the manger, but actually Jesus was maybe a year or two old by the time they got there to visit him. So Mary and Joseph had moved into a house rather than in the cave where Jesus was born, so he was probably a little toddler when they came to visit him. So I'm going to read you from Matthew chapter 2 on the first 12 verses, and then we're going to talk about a little more about this. Jesus was born in the town of Bethlehem in Judea during the reign of King Herod. At about that time, some astrologers from eastern lands arrived in Jerusalem asking, "Where is the newborn king of the Jews? For we have seen his star in far-off eastern lands and have come to worship him." So see, look right there. They saw that star clear where they lived in the eastern lands, which was probably around Persia area. King Herod was deeply disturbed by their question, and all Jerusalem was filled with rumors. He called a meeting of the Jewish religious leaders. "Did the prophets tell us where the Messiah would be born?" he said. "Yes, in Bethlehem," they said, "for this is what the prophet Micah wrote." Now look, the prophet Micah was in the Old Testament, and here we are in the New Testament. So the Old Testament predicted that Jesus would be born. "O little town of Bethlehem, you are not just an unimportant Judean village, for a king shall rise from you to rule my people Israel." Then Herod sent a secret message to the astrologers, who are the three wise men, asking them to come to see him. At the meeting, he found out from them the exact time when they first saw the star. Then he told them, "Go to Bethlehem and search for the child, and then come back and tell me, so I can go worship him too." After this secret meeting, the astrologers started out again. And look, the star appeared to them again, standing over Bethlehem. Their joy knew no bounds. Entering the house where the baby and Mary his mother were, they threw themselves down before him, worshiping. Then they opened their presents and gave him gold, frankincense, and myrrh. But when they returned to their own land, they didn't go through Jerusalem to report to Herod, for God had warned them in a dream to go home another way. So this is the story that we hear. And as I said, Joseph is, the three wise men were probably highly educated men, and they were very well thought of. They probably were philosophers and authors and astronomers, so they studied the stars. So when they saw that bright star, they knew that the time was here for the new Messiah, because they were from the eastern lands, which is the Persia area, where Daniel had preached and converted a lot of the people there to Christianity, to believe in God. So these three wise men were probably waiting for this event to happen. So when they went to Herod, asking where thinking that he was in Jerusalem, Herod probably had no idea. He was probably clueless that there was another king that people were going to worship. So luckily, the three wise men went to Bethlehem, and the star guided them, and they were able to meet with the baby Jesus. Now, I wanted to tell you about the three gifts that they gave. Gold, because gold is for royalty. Even today, we know that gold signifies wealth or power. It means you're very important and high up, I guess you'd say, but gold signifies kingdom. And then frankincense is like a fragrance that they burn when they worshiped in the temple. So it had a very welcoming odor, sort of like if you go to a certain churches, they wave incense as they go down the aisle, and so there's this smell that comes that signifies worship and priesthood, and so that's probably why they offered that. And then the myrrh was an unusual gift because myrrh was used for a healing ointment or embalming, mostly for embalming. So this was sort of signifying that they knew that Jesus was eventually going to die. And it's just odd to me, just hard to believe that these three wise men knew exactly what the Messiah was and what he stood for and what he was going to need, because he was God come down to earth as a human and going to suffer all the things that we ourselves suffer. And the wise men knew what gifts to give him to proclaim that he is definitely the Messiah, and they understood that he would be the one to worship and carry this on to other nations as they traveled back home. So one thing we can learn from the wise men is the gifts that they gave, the gold and the frankincense and myrrh. We also have gifts we can give God. They're not those gifts, but we have love, our love to give him. We have that gift to offer. We have the love, we have worship to offer him, because they also worshiped him with the frankincense that they signified deity. And then also we have our lives to offer him for the love that he showed us when he was born and raised here on earth to die for our sins. And so all we have to do is share that with others, just as the wise men followed the star and told their story to others. We need to do the same thing, and that would be our gift to the Lord. So we always have that. So in ending here, I hope you understood. It was a little confusing, I know, but I wanted to wish you all a happy new year, and my wish for all of you is for peace and health and goodness through the whole year, and that we all have kindness for each other. And please always remember that you're loved, no matter what race you are, no matter what status you are in the community, no matter where you are, hard times, good times, that you are loved. And all have a happy new year.